welcome to another edition of Coffee with Coach. Hey, Coach Douglas, how you doing today?
I'm cold. It is fall. There's a little bit of steam coming out of my mouth when I was walking across campus, looking at Lion Hall with the sun hitting it. Beautiful fall day, man. I cannot believe we are halfway through this season. It is just flying by.
I know it is. It really is. And gosh, it seems like yesterday you just started practice, you know?
Exactly. It was 100 million degrees. Everybody was melting, and we did popsicles. Mama Doug and all the wives and significant others came out yesterday and did popsicles, and the guys were like, it's too cold for popsicles. So, but they had fun, and again, it's fall.
Right.
This is the way it should be, right?
You got a special guest today. Who is it?
We do. We got Zach Wallstrom. He is our tight ends coach, and just all-around good guy. And just wanted to get our last of our new coaches on Coffee with Coach today, so glad to have him.
Good. Zach, introduce yourself, talk about a little bit about yourself, and tell the people who you are.
Man, this is such a hard question. I'm Zach Wallstrom. I've been coaching since I was 18. I started coaching high school back in my high school with my pops, and stayed there for a couple years. Spent some time overseas coaching in Germany and Poland. Got the opportunity to work at UCA and Hendrix as well, and now I'm lucky enough to be here, actually doing the full coaching thing. It's a big job, but it's fun. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, he's recruiting tight ends. He's doing all the data input. He's anything wiping down tables because of possible diseases running around our campus, and we won't talk about that. But
it's all going on the resume.
Everything.
You got you're Mr. Everything.
That's right.
That's cool though.
Coach, talk about last week. Let's go into last week.
We have to.
We have to kind of recap a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to wait till your coffees get delivered.
Absolutely, yes. Thank
From
you.
the fantastic Salty Dog.
Appreciate it.
Callie.
We appreciate it.
What's up, man?
So, Texas leads.
Yeah, just a debacle all the way across the board. I don't know that I've seen that type of scenario happen in the second quarter where we give up field position basically on our own 34th straight series in a row to really put us behind the 8-ball. I felt like we matched up fairly well with TOU going in, and I walk away from that game knowing that we match up pretty well. Now that is a really disciplined, really well-coached team. Coach LaHue does an awesome job with that group. They're probably the best offensive line we've seen so far. I was really impressed coming away from them, but I was also telling our guys, this is a team we can compete with, but we can't keep beating ourselves. Again, I'm not going to keep beating the drum of we're playing some younger quarterbacks that we didn't expect to play right away, that have made a couple of critical errors. We're down with, we throw a little rollout. It wasn't a bad ball, but we throw a pick. It was a really nice play by the safety. Probably should have just thrown it away or ran it and gone for third down. But it is what it is. I'm never going to fault a quarterback for trying to make that throw, particularly in that situation. It was the right decision. Safety just made a great play. But then we come back and we just make a critical error throwing the ball in the middle. 3 deadly sins of playing quarterback: late, down the middle, blind. You can't do either of those 3, and we did all 3 at the same time, and it turned into a pick, and the pick that got ran back, touchdown, but then got called back. But a couple of critical errors like that, but then also just fumbling a punt snap, or punt the ball under pressure, under duress, hung up in the air, wind, then it bounces, and we have an opportunity to stop the ball, at least save a couple, 10 yards maybe, and it ends up being a -5 punt. So we look at the stats, and it's 4 turnovers offensively, but it's really 6 total when you drop a punt. So that's a -15 on field exchange right there. Not even a 0, it's a negative, and then it's a -5 on a punt exchange as well, field position exchange on another punt. And so those are, to me, are two more turnovers. And you can't win games. I don't care if you're playing the New York Giants or the Little Giants. You can't beat them when you turn the ball over 6 times. And so we've got to kill that. I mean, if you look back at the last 3 games where we're 0-3 in the last 3, it is 13 total turnovers. And 3 of those were immediate 6 points, and most of the rest are resulting in 6 points. And so you're putting the defense in a bad situation already with limited field position, but you're doing it multiple times, and you can't survive doing that.
Right. Coach Wallstrom, do you want to talk a little bit about last week?
honestly, Coach Douglas covered the bulk of it.
Okay.
What else is there to say?
We're gonna move on past that. Okay.
Yeah, and I will say though, we did some really nice things. We cut down on missed tackles. We cut down on bust. Offensively, we cut down on BIJs. BIJs, it's an acronym for us. It means ball in jeopardy. Simply means that we're not carrying the ball appropriately, which leads to turnovers. We cut down on drop passes as well. I have kind of a trending up, trending down graph that I always pull up for the guys, and it's green arrows are good and red arrows are bad. And we had way more green arrows on just our KPIs, our performance index. But you can't get away from the 6 turnovers. And so you could do everything right and turn the ball over 6 times, and you're going to have a hard time winning.
Right. Well, Centenary going down to Louisiana, go to Shreveport this weekend. Yeah. 6 o'clock game kickoff. Talk a little bit about the Gents. They beat Austin College a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think that's their only win of the season, but they're a formidable opponent.
Absolutely. They've got some really good team speed. They've got some transfers in, so even though they're really a first-year program, 1 year as a club or transition year, growth year, whatever you want to call it, when we played them last year, where they had some really good players as freshmen even. They've got some transfers too that are supplementing some of those younger guys that have stuck around that are sophomores now. But again, got some really nice speed. See them doing some really good things. I know they've had a little bit of change on offense from what they were doing to what they're doing now. Defensively, they run a unique setup, so we'll have to make some adjustments to how we're going to play. But again, it's a young program, and they're growing and developing. That's going to be a program that's going to be a team to contend for. You can take a look at scores and stats and all that, but it rings true with us and any of our 3 losses that we've already had in the last 3 weeks, and then also look at the Centenary win with Austin. They had 2 turnovers that resulted in immediate 6 points. They had a scoop and score, and I think they had a pick 6. In that Austin game. And so again, Austin's going to struggle as well if they're turning the ball over for immediate points. And so football's football, and those things are kind of tried and true type of things. We can look at analytics and we can dive deep, but at the end of the day, if you don't possess the ball and you don't score when you have the opportunity, it's going to be hard to win games. And so Austin found that with Centenary. Again, it's a team that can be really dangerous, and again has a lot of great speed. There's certain things we're not going to do. I'm not going to disclose necessarily, but there's a couple of things we're not going to do this week, particularly on some special teams, to make sure that we're holding it down.
Okay. Coach Wallstrom, what's your take on Centenary?
I do like the matchup. I think we have a good shot against these guys. They're going to be competitive for sure. Yeah, but it's going to be a fun game.
It's going to be a fun game.
Trying to make sure.
Microphone up so I can hear you.
Oh, my bad.
That's all good. So, your position. Talk about some of the guys in your position.
So we've lost a couple. One of our tight ends made a transition to D-line. He's pulling a China shop over there. He's wrecking it up. I'm proud of him. He's doing good. My other guys who have stayed in the room, all of them made huge jumps. At the start of the season during fall camp, we were dropping the ball left and right. We had a lot of work on it. We've significantly improved in that regard. Like that's a huge one. I think I counted like 42, 46 drops in one day. We're probably down to like 8 now. Still got to lower that number, but we're doing really good. We're figuring it out. We're super young. I found out 2 weeks ago that none of my guys are in their 20s. They're all 19 and under. So it's a really young group. They're starting to get some experience on the field. They haven't played a lot in their previous years. So yeah, I'm super proud of all those guys. Thomas Brunston and all them boys.
I noticed looking at some of the the stats from the win that Centenary had. They had a big rushing performance out of their running back.
Yeah.
Defensively, what kind of what do you see defensively that we can do to stop them?
So our defense against their offense, we've got to contain the run. Their quarterback is very active. He runs the ball really well. Overall, they run the ball pretty well. It's become their emphasis where they're going to probably try to run the ball about 75 or 70% of the time. So we've got to make sure that we contain that. Again, team speed will be critical. So we've got to make sure we control the line of scrimmage and control the perimeter. We had a little bit of trouble last week at times balls bouncing and losing the perimeter and containing the run. And so we've got to do a great job on the line and at the second level of doing that, and then be able to come up and make tackles in open field when they do either break through the line or present themselves on the perimeter. But I feel like our guys have really improved defensively from the last couple of weeks, cutting down on assignment and alignment errors, which are always critical. If you can't get lined up right on defense, you're way more at a deficit than you would be offensively, although offensive misalignments are critical too. But defense is even more critical if you're out of place. And then just bust in assignments are really critical. But then if you can't tackle, you can't be on the defensive side. And so we're really starting to cut down on those missed tackles. And so we've got to continue that trend because again, it's going to be run game oriented. We've got to be able to continue to defend the pass better than we have, and we did make some improvements last week. Compared to that game against Howard Payne, where it seemed like we gave up about 100,000 post shots. Now we've cut that down last week, but it will be critical to stop the quarterback and stop the base run game for sure.
Coach Wallstrom, talk a little bit about the defense that Centenary has and your take on them and how it works against our offense.
A couple guys that I've heard have been calling them the Great Wall of Centenary because of how their DBs line up. They're 5 across the board, which is kind of wild, especially coming from the secondary. It's not something I've ever seen. I do kind of like it, but I think defensively they're solid. They like to really get in your face. They're very heavy, pressing the line, getting a lot of guys up there to cause confusion, get a lot of movement. The linebackers are solid. I think their defense is good, but it's also one we can definitely compete with. They give us space that we like, so.
It's the Great Wall of Centenary. That's cool. I hadn't heard that yet, but it's kind of a unique alignment with their secondary, just to try to give you some different looks to not know exactly where safeties are going to be spinning down or maybe corners walking up or things like that. It's kind of something that Rocky Long, who was the head coach at South Dakota State for a good while, kind of instituted with his 3-3 defense back in the day, and inserting safeties back and forth and left and right. So I think that's a little bit of the emphasis. It's a little bit of change from what they did week 1, which was a little bit more traditional. So it is going to be an adjustment for us. It's not something I've seen a lot. It's not anything that our players have seen previously. So we've got to be able to take advantage when we get opportunities, but we also got to mitigate issues when they try to rock and roll or spin safeties down into the perimeter and try to take some of the short game away. So we've got to be real careful with that. But again, it'll come down for us really controlling the line of scrimmage and establish a run game. I think that's really any game. You could ask me any of these 10 games, I'll always say that because you can't just rely on the pass. We may start the game trying to throw to open up the run. We may start the game to start the run to open the run, and then open up the pass later. But at the end of the day, we've got to be able to control the line of scrimmage.
Right. That's kind of both sides of the one coin there.
That's right.
After these couple of hard losses here, talk a little bit about the morale of the team and how it's putting it behind you and keeping it going.
It's hard, especially when you have a good number of young guys. We got a good number of old guys, but we've got a good number of young guys too, and so. As I told them after the game on Saturday and told them again on Monday, it's kind of natural to have some doubt, not just in yourself but in the others around you, and that's a hard battle to fight, and that's why we have what's called the 24-hour rule. In 24 hours, you can mope about it, you can cry about it, you can sulk, but 24 hours later, we got to find what kind of grit you've got in you and get back to work. And then we've got to develop belief in what we're doing. And I think that's not just what happens on Saturdays. That's what happens on Monday, watching film and learning from the good things that we did as well. I tell our coaches all the time, we have to have teachable moments in our film. And let's say we've got 30 clips of the game that we want to watch. I'd like to see about 15 of them be negative, correctable, critiquing plays, and then there's 15 of them that are highlight plays that are, hey, this, and maybe it's a small thing with footwork or hand placement or how we caught the ball or whatever it is, that we want to show our young guys and our old guys how to do it the right way. And so again, that was a lot of the emphasis on Monday, was making sure that we learn from the good things that we did as well to help develop that confidence and that belief. But I'm a big believer confidence comes from repping practice the right way. And so when you have successful plays Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in practice, that leads to confidence that exudes itself on Saturday.
Right. Coach Wallstrom, you want to add something to that? A little bit about how the morale needs, is picked up, and it was a 24-hour rule that the coach talked about.
Yeah, he's pretty spot on with it. Guys do have doubt, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a sport.
Yeah.
Someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. We got a long season, we can keep playing, so there's not really a big reason to freak out or be upset. Like, yeah, our 24-hour rule, 100%. Do your thing, work through it however you got to work through it, but like, we got more games to play, so just keep your head up, keep rolling.
Well, the way this round robin is going, you'll see Centenary in 2 weeks.
Very quick turnaround, yeah.
Turnaround.
That's right.
And it could mean a lot for the SCAC here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Standings go.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. At the end of the day, we're always playing for 1-0. We're always playing to get 1% better. And so, at this point, I'm not concerned what the end of the season record looks like or any type of standings. It'll be what it'll be. But if we take care of Thursday, and then we take care of Friday, and we take care of Saturday, we're one step closer to what everybody wants to get at the end of the season, is a successful season, a winning record, an improving ball club, an improving program. Again, I have to look at the forest versus the trees. Our players, sometimes our assistant coaches are going to look at the trees, and that's part of their job. They've got to flesh out the details. It's my job to look at the big picture, to look at the program as a whole. I'm going to be here longer than anybody probably, so I've got to look at the long term of it. And so I'm also looking at the programmatic growth as well, and being in a new conference, this gives us an opportunity to kind of stake our flag, to establish who we are and what we're about in a new arena. And so let's see how we buck up, what kind of grit we have to respond from 3 games and 13 turnovers and a ton of missed tackles to let's see where we go now with a game against Centenary and then whoever's after that.
Right.
Because it's 1-0, so I'm not concerned about whoever's next on the schedule until they get to it.
Exactly. Coach Wallstrom, first year here, what's your take about Lion College football?
I think it's actually pretty cool. Like, it's different from the places I've been. Every program does their things differently.
Yep.
But I think we're solid. I think how we practice is really good. It's something I'll probably take with me wherever I go, whenever I go. Like, I do like the way we do things around here. It's smooth. It flows well. The campus itself is gorgeous. Probably one of the prettiest campuses I've been on. I've worked in a lot of places, so.
And now he knows where the salty dog is.
Yeah. Apparently, it was supposed to be explained on the tour.
So. They hide this secret.
Yeah, that's right.
The good coffee.
That's right.
Coach, do we want to say anything more about Centenary? You want to talk a little bit more about the guys going down there to Shreveport this weekend? It's supposed to be clear skies.
Yeah, it'll be a little warmer, but and Coach called me sometime late spring, early summer, said, hey, can we do this as a 6 o'clock? Because it's first weekend in October. It could still be really hot in Shreveport. And I was like, yes. I mean, again, not a big fan of a late kick because that's a really late return back. But Sunday's our day off, so the guys have an opportunity to hit the reset button, get some rest, get ready for the week academically. So I'm not concerned about that. I think it'll be a great little thing. It's going to be a little bit different. Normally, my standard for making an overnight road trip is about 3 to 3.5 hours. But with a 6 o'clock kick and it only been about 4.5 hours away, we're going to leave on Saturday. We're going to let the guys sleep in their own beds one more night. We'll pack up around 9:15, hit the road, and take our time. We'll stop down and get a little super slam at Denny's or ultimate omelet at Denny's down in Texarkana as our pregame meal. And then we'll hightail it down there and get in around 2:30, 3 o'clock, something like that, and get ready for a 6 o'clock kick. It'll be good. I'm really excited to be able to see what Centenary's doing with their stadium. It's a big deal for them because it's the only college football in Shreveport. And so it's a huge deal for the college. It's a huge deal for Shreveport. In fact, there was just a news interview with their athletic director that just came out. I guess it was probably happened last weekend, but it came out on a news feed that I get for athletic directors, and just the excitement and the importance and just the vision of what Centenary is wanting to do with adding football to their athletic department and what it does for the community. And the athletic director is right. Football's special. Football's different. Like, it just brings so many different types of people into one place. I mean, and if you look at, I'm going to get very philosophical here, but you look at a football locker room, it is made up of a huge, wide variety and dynamic of different people from all sorts of different spectrum of socioeconomic and regions of the country, and just different upbringings. Football's unique, and I think it's partly because every position is unique. Like, if you're an offensive lineman, you can't play receiver. If you're a receiver, you better not be playing offensive line. If you're a D tackle, you're probably not backpedaling. You're not a defensive back. And so it's very specialized in that way, and I think it makes for a wide diversity in your locker room as well. And so everybody has a role and everybody has an assignment, and at least 22 plus your special teams, so probably 26, that really every game have a starting responsibility that's huge. And then you've got all the backups, and then you've got the guys that are helping the guys get ready that aren't even traveling and they aren't even playing on Saturday. So it's just such a big operation. I think that epitomizes what it does for a community and brings so many different people together as well, and just the excitement. And it's not the nation's pastime, but it's the nation's fan sport for sure.
Right. And this is a closer game for Scots fans to travel.
That's absolutely, yeah, not very far away. I mean, and we got a lot of Texas guys and we got some Louisiana guys, so it's not a bad trip for our East Texas folks. It's definitely a close trip for our Louisiana families. So that'll be good moving forward in the conference. And we'll have some opportunities again here coming up pretty soon when we travel back to Texas.
Right. Coach Wellstrom, looking at these teams, both us and them, we're pretty comparable. And this is a very winnable game. What's your thoughts on that?
Doug, 100% it's a very winnable game. It's like Coach said, though, we need to execute. We need to really come together, and I've talked about it with some of the guys. I've talked about it with the staff. Like, we need to learn how to finish as a unit, especially offensively. Like, we get close to the red zone and guys start getting a little too excited or a little too nervous, and we make some silly errors that shouldn't happen. We just got to calm down and just play the game. It's 20 to 25 more yards. Don't even worry about the red, the green, the checkerboard. Let's pass that. Just go play.
That's right. That's all you have to do. Yeah. Coach, 6 o'clock kickoff, Centenary, Shreveport, Louisiana. Big game in Louisiana, and good for us too.
Absolutely.
Down there.
Absolutely.
Any other comments you have?
No, just excited to, again, it's another opportunity. I don't want to say necessarily the faceless opponent, but it really is another opportunity for us to show who we are and what we're about, and have that grit, but also turn that practice into performance.
Excellent. Anything you want to add, Coach?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, right. We're glad to have Coach Wallstrom. Yeah. He's done a great job, and and actually had to take on some extra roles, which is a little bit of change on our staff. So we're excited to have him. So I wanted to introduce him to all the people watching.
Well, congratulations and thank you for being here, Coach Wallstrom.
Absolutely.
Coach, always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
6 o'clock kickoff, Centenary. It's on live stream as well, folks, if you don't travel, but it's only a 5-hour trip. I might even see you down there.
That's right. That's right.
So, hey, go Scots.
Go Scots.